had a brand new sticker on it, and it was hooked
And it was
on the trailer hitch
dragging?
and going down the highway at 70 miles an hour.
Why would they do that?
I don't know, but I got the hell out of the way.
Because that
I-
sounds like something that's going to go rip off and go flying across the freeway.
And a tire is heavy.
So was that an intentional?
No. My theory was, because I like coming up with this, is that he had backed his car into his driveway. He had leaned some tires up against the car, right? Mm-hmm. And when he started it up to leave this morning, he pulled forward and one fell over and grabbed and fell on top of the trailer hitch and off he goes. Here's the problem in 2017. What do? So normally...
Wouldn't you pull off when you smelled the burning rubber and you go, my goodness, that doesn't seem right?
Well, I was falling behind him and I got into another lane right away. Okay.
Sure.
So as far as my responsibility goes, in 2017, what would I do?
Well, I would try. Obviously, you would try to alert him, but the question is, how do you explain there's a tire attached to your hitch that's dragging on?
I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Yeah, it's like you can't steer with your knees for that long on the freeway.
What could I have done that wouldn't come off in 2017 as road rage? Flash my lights? Road rage. Honk my horn? Road rage. Pull up next to him and start gesticulating.
But
road rage.
No, but in a friendly gesticulation versus a harsh one, it usually involves the middle finger.
Let's practice that. How would that go?
I'm driving and
I'm the bad guy. No, I'm the guy with the tire. Okay.
Hi. Big smile.
I'm married. Sorry. I know this is tempting, but I'm married.
You're tired.
Don't.
You're tired.
The eyes are up here, lady. So there's nothing you can actually do. I've done that before. You drive up and you point back and down, and they go, oh, a tire must be going, and they pull off and do it, and now they just go faster.
Like, what's wrong with you, you freak?
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
It's very true. It's very true, especially in the morning when it's dark.
That's true, because it's a lot harder to tell if someone's being threatening or if they're actually, like, sincere about, hey, you got an issue.
Right?
Although I do remember once we were on a road trip with my dad, and this trucker came by and did an obscene gesture, because I guess he saw my older sister in the car. And my father was genuinely perplexed. He went, what does that mean? Would that be my transmission? Maybe that's my exhaust. And my sister and I are looking at each other like... And I'm like, Dad, he's ignoring us because he's still just genuinely pondering.
Trying to figure it out.
This is the worst part. So he catches back up with the trucker and he's like, does the gesture back with this look of sincere, like, is that what you meant? And I'm like, Dad, really just, and he didn't listen to us. So he actually pulled off at the next service station and once again repeated the gesture for them.
There you go.
Asking with sincere inquiry, what does this mean when a trucker does this? Would this be my tires? And the guy at the service station is staring at him like...
It's just like, don't do that.
What?
Mister.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Okay, another story. Went across country in 1960, and we're luckily good enough to have my dad was a teacher, not rich, had a station wagon where the back seat faced backwards.
Nice.
And then you could lower the window, and the fumes would come in, and you'd almost die.
This explains so much, but go on.
Back in the day... Hell's Angels were active.
Oh, yeah.
And would come down the highway in a group of 20 or 30, and big Hell's Angel on the back and the hat with a spike on it and the works.
And they're not cute the way they were in Sons of Anarchy. They're not like that at all. You'd think they're not. And they don't bathe either. Anyway, go on.
And bad dental hygiene. And I remember my dad, and I've never heard him say this, he goes, if you flip these guys off, because they're scary. I mean, they were scary, but we're kids and we're like, hey, look, it's the Hell's Angels. And you start doing this.
Yeah, but you're very well bred. I couldn't have imagined you ever flipping off anyone.
But then my dad had a discussion about what these guys do. And we never moved. We wouldn't even look at them. You just...
Avert your eyes. Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact.
All right, I want to talk so bad. Like I said, today is like holy mackerel, what a story kind of morning.
You were actually giggling like a 6-year-old. This is very exciting.
This one, I'm going to start off in Farmington. And some of the parents got together because in Farmington, November 1st, they decided to name their brand new mascot for the school. What was yours?
And the school's very pretty.
What was yours?
We were the Leopards or the Panthers.
East High was the Panthers?
No, it wasn't East High. It was Highland High. Oh, we're the Rams. That's right.
The Rams. Mine was the Minutemen because it's Lexington,
That's kind of a given. You're in Lexington. You didn't have a chance.
It's either
the Musket.
Right.
We're the muskets.
Well, they came up with, and they voted for it, and they came up with a phoenix because of the new school.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's
yeah.
rising from the ashes. It would never die. And if it did, it would rise from the ashes again and be great and wonderful.
Oh,
The
that's
phoenix,
beautiful, yeah.
Like in Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay. So they said, oh, this is great. And then one of the parents thought of something and got together with some other parents in a group and in their backyard at a barbecue, I think, and they all started chanting like you would at a football game.
Give me a P!
No, they would just go, Phoenixes, Phoenixes, and then you put a crowd muffle on that, and it's Phoenixes, Phoenixes. So it rhymes with Venus and genius, sort of. And so they're up in arms because they don't want a stadium of kids in high school yelling that.
The kids are 100% behind it like, this is great.
I like the P, though. Give me a P. Shut them up.
We're done here.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's move back to the Rams. The Rams is a good one. We'll go with Rams.
All right, so
All right, this is such
unless
an
both
emotional.
teams are playing. Go ahead.
No. The next story is incredibly emotional because just the concept of this.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was going online because I was trying to find images for this story. And I was going through Mayo Clinic and looking at the process, and I wanted to cry. I mean, it was beautiful. Did you see what they went through?
Did I promise you a holy mackerel kind of show?
Whole thing. It's going to be freaking amazing.
Are you ready? This is one of those stories you don't want to screw up when I'm telling it. It's that kind of story.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it right because it's good.
October 27th, Mayo Clinic. Rochester, Minnesota, Mayo Clinic Library. Lily Ross. Lily Ross was the wife. Her husband committed suicide, and he shot himself. This is 10 years ago.
Heartbreaking.
So why is she at Mayo now? That's a good question. Andy Sandus had difficulties with the same issue, and one day, very recently, as a matter of fact, he decided to put a gun underneath his chin, and it took off his face. That was 10 years ago. Sorry. That was 10 years ago. Lily's husband passed away because he shot himself. And then when he did that, she said, well, he was the kind of person who would donate his body. Mayo Clinic said, we would like to have part of your husband that would help somebody
so you're thinking
else.
a kidney or a liver or maybe corneas.
His face. The other gentleman who had damaged his entire face lived for 10 years without one.
I can only imagine.
10 years without one. And it's the first time they have done this. And so she said yes. And it went to the Mayo Clinic and it was attached. And the funny thing is that all the DNA, all the blood, everything was so close, they could have been cousins. Is that unbelievable? And they did it.
The coincidence of this.
And they did it.
And it didn't reject. Because that's the hugest thing about transplants is the rejection rate is, oh my gosh.
And she gets to go meet him with
Do you
her
see the picture
husband's
on the back of
face on it.
Do you see the picture of the back of that picture book?
Yeah.
Where it's her and her husband, and he's holding her pregnant tummy.
Yeah. She did. She had her 17-month-old son with her. And she was pregnant.
I mean, his face is growing a beard. I mean, he has eyebrows. I mean, his nose is perfect. I mean...
She made fun because if you look at his chin, there's a hairless patch right there. And she told him, and she goes, her husband used to grow his beard long so he could comb it over. He had a comb over. And the 17-month-old stood very still and looked at his father's face. And then ran over. See?
Oh my gosh.
Whoa!
But it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, the change it made in this man's life, and the fact that he said this is a responsibility. He said that how much it meant to him, that he knew how important his responsibility was to do something that mattered because to show gratitude for what had happened for him.
And it wouldn't be wasted, he said. There you go.
How are we going to top the rest of this? You suck.
like-
I'm never going to top this.
It's like Finding Ryan at the end, right? Oh my gosh. Did I tell you this is going to be crazy? This is the craziest show.
All right, going from emotional to like mean-spirited, because 90% of my motivation in life is spite-based. I saw the story and went, this is so beautiful, I can hardly stand it. Now, we've all gotten the emails of, Nigeria, and it's a Nigerian prince that has to get out of the country, and he'll give you like $12 million of his 57, if you'll just send him a cashier's check for, all of those.
Right,
There's a million of them
yeah.
now. Now, I actually...
People still fall for it.
A million of them, and people still do. And
I'm going to get $40 million.
Okay, for sure.
That's awesome.
I won a Belgian lottery I never entered. Okay.
Belgian.
Sure.
Comes with waffles.
So, I actually do know a couple of people who have a deal more time than I do, that they'll actually string the scammer along and ask all these earnest, innocent questions, like, really? And it'll go on, and they'll drag it out forever. And their theory is, if I'm keeping him busy with me, he has less chance to screw other people. Plus, it's really fun to screw them up.
And they have so many people doing this that have put it on Facebook, and it's hilarious.
Well, however, so people who don't have as much time but still want to torture them have come up with something new. And it's absolutely amazing. It's called Rescam. It's from New Zealand. It's an artificial intelligence that messes with the scammers and totally wastes their time. It can take on multiple personas, changing vocabulary adequately, sometimes even including grammar errors that would fit with the character,
right.
like LOL, whatever.
Right.
And it turns the table, basically wasting all of their time without a single second of yours. So you get the scam email.
So you're just going back and forth?
And then you forward it to rescam.org, where check
Once
is done.
again, do it again.
It's me@rescam.org, and I'll also put it up for you.
It's hilarious.
So it checks down to make sure it's a scam attempt, which, if it's Nigerian prince, okay. So basically what they do then is they have a proxy email address that's used to engage the scammer that floods his inbox with excited emails. Now, the scammer cannot tell that it came from an AI, and they think it's the potential real victim that they had attempted to contact. So it's surprisingly effective because it's built. If you think about it, it's built on efficiency. They throw out a million of those emails,
right.
And all they need is one sucker to answer it, right?
Right.
And then they got them on the line, and they can string them along for a while. So if your AI hits up and goes, "This is so exciting," they're like, "Bingo, got my one on the line," and so they start, reeling them in. So basically, the thing I love most about this model is that they're really excited, and they're like, I'm really thrilled, and I'm just a little nervous. I just need more information, and let's talk about this, and let's send pictures back and forth, and let's get to know each other.
You know what's going to screw the world over? If there is one Nigerian prince who has $300 million, and someone sends them $2,500 in gift cards, and they actually give them the money.
That will suck.
Everyone is screwed.
Because it was just a Nigerian prince who wanted
knew
something
it.
at Best Buy, and he didn't have one in Nigeria. And
I knew it.
in any case, so if you want to enjoy this, and it also sends you updates so you can see the responses back from the scammers. If you want to try it out, and it looks so awesome, I've got like 3 I've already written down for me@rescam, RESCAM.org. Me@rescam.org. I am dying to try this one out.
This is going to be so.
But they said this can drag on for as long as 9 months before the scammer eventually gives up.
That's hilarious.
They did one lengthy scenario I read where they'd show this tragic accident of this woman that had developed the AI had developed an online relationship with a Nigerian scammer. It had been making him send her pictures. Then there's this picture of the terrible auto accident, and then it's her priest going, "I'm terribly sorry, but she has passed away, but she told me about her dream to one day meet you." And so it starts all over again. It's awesome.
It's only going to take one person to give someone $300 million.
Me@rescam.org.
All right, we've got information coming up with Daisy.
She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom, brought to you by UtahCreditApproval.com. You know what? You deserve a reliable automobile and a chance to rebuild your credit, and that's what they can do for you at Utah Credit Approval. You can give them a call at 801-921-9819. Also by Columbus Travel. Columbus Travel's got some fantastic deals right now on upgrades for your cruises or all-inclusive Mexican vacations. All you have to do is go to ColumbusVacations.com. They've got an epic weekly newsletter that will give you some great ideas. And also all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where dear Uncle John will stop by your house at any time of the day or night should there be an emergency, although he does prefer business hours if you just want him to check up on your furnace to make sure it's working.
$69.
AllUtahPlumbing.com. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Hello, everyone. Here's what's making headlines Tuesday, November 14th at GephardtDaily.com. A veteran casting director is publicly accusing actor Tom Sizemore of molesting an 11-year-old girl on a Utah film set back in 2003. Katrine McGregor, who resides in Idaho, told The Hollywood Reporter Sizemore was ordered from the set, but no charges were ever filed. The actress, who is now 26, said she's recently hired a lawyer and is exploring legal action against both the actor and her parents, who she says knew of the abuse but did nothing about it. Sizemore is refusing to comment on the story. The main suspect in the murder of Spanish Fork resident Peggy Sue Case 29 years ago made his first appearance in the Utah courtroom Monday. Michael Cuffrin, who was extradited from Illinois, was Case's live-in boyfriend when she disappeared from the Spanish Fork home they shared. Investigators long suspected Cuffrin in Case's disappearance, but it wasn't until last spring when her skeletal remains were found buried beneath a shed in the backyard of their former residence that police made the arrest. Cuffrin's preliminary hearing is scheduled for December 11th. And anyone recognize this rocket scientist? Police say he was caught on surveillance video while stealing a car in Taylorsville last Friday night. The suspect is described as Caucasian, of average build, with short hair and tattoos on his neck and arms. If you recognize this guy, call police. They'd love to have a little chat. And time now for a look at your Wasatch Front weather, brought to you by our spiffy new sponsors at Brio Technologies, Utah's top audiovisual specialists. We're going to continue to enjoy mild temperatures this week with highs in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Nighttime lows will hover in the 30s and 40s. Expect a bit of rain and possibly a touch of snow later in the week. That's it for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to GetBackDaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
These calls, I got one from Erin. This is about, 6 years ago, and I'm out doing something, and I was shopping, and I got that call saying one of the pipes is broken in the basement, and it's flooding. Now, if you can think of the pressure, like behind your sink in your kitchen, and think of that spraying everywhere. And I was like an hour and a half away, and we would have a subterranean swimming pool by the time I got home.
The boys would have loved it, but it really was not efficient for a long-time lifestyle solution.
All Utah Plumbing are the people that you need to put in your phone as we speak, because these people you can call and say, John, guys, help me out. I got a pipe going, and they can get over there. They can turn it down. They can fix it. They can put it back together right now because it's cold and you're really working your furnace hard. Did you change your filter every 30 days? I did not know that. That's because he is an expert. He'll come over for $69 and go through the entire deal. I mean, they crawl inside. They check the gas pressure, combustion chamber, all the things that could make it unsafe for your family. So if you want to get more information, and maybe you got a leaking pipe right now, they can help you out. Go to allutahplumbing.com.
That was nice. All right, tell me something good. You ready?
Okay, how tragic does this one start
Not
off?
at all, but it's actually very sweet.
All right.
It's hard for John Freitz because his grandma Mary Freitz has always loved doing word searches. Now she's 86 years old, and that was her thing because she was like, I'm going to keep my brain working because they talk about as you get older,
Right.
Keep your brain active, do crossword puzzles, do these things so that you can kind of keep everything active. Well, dementia actually did set in anyway, and she was at a care center, and he was visiting her one day, only 17 years old, and he said, "What's going on?" She said, "I can't do my word searches anymore."
Because she just didn't have...
Yeah, with the dementia, it was just too much. And it was such a big thing for her because she had felt like she was empowering herself to do something for her brain, to help herself. So John took a look at this, and once again, 17-year-old kid. And there have been modified puzzle collections for people with Alzheimer's before where they do a larger font, larger so you can see it a little better.
Right.
But nothing like this, because what he did is he created a bigger font, simplified words, and then no more backwards or diagonal answers.
Oh, right.
So everything
Up
was
and down.
Yeah, it was a lot more straightforward.
Right.
And then he even modified it further so that he could utilize early memories. Because if you take a look with a lot of people, and we learned this with Miss Virginia with my dad, that their ability to remember really precise, exacting detail from earlier in life is very good, even if they're having enormous problems with later. And
May I suggestion? I went and saw my mom before she passed away, and very confused about current events and how many grandkids there were and stuff like that. But once I found out that she had a perfect memory, 50 years ago.
Yeah, when you were like 15 years old, she could say everything that happened.
I'd say, Mom, my dad was a teacher. He did construction during the summer. He was working on a house. And I said, what was that bird we had? And evidently this blue jay hung around the crew. They started feeding it. And so my dad, because we lived in the woods, trapped it in a bird cage, brought it home, let it out. And he hung around, and she knew his name. She knew where he roosted. And it was unbelievable. And it was like it was yesterday.
And so because he'd been visiting her for so long, he had known a lot of the other residents of the care center, a lot of the people that, she interacted with every day. So he started creating custom puzzles for each of them, so that on the Alzheimer's wing, he would get information from their families and from their picture boards outside their rooms, and he would start utilizing that to make word searches that related to earlier memories that they could access.
Right.
And for instance, his grandma, he said her favorites were my vacation ones, where she could remember all of the vacations they'd had.
Right.
And so it was such a huge thing, and all of the residents were so excited, and the nurses were like, this is amazing, that he actually got to create a scientific study on how the word searches benefit the elderly and how it utilizes different portions of the brain. 17 years old, the kid just presented his findings at the American College of Lifestyle Medicine Conference in October. And they just gave him a full ride scholarship to college.
Just another young kid making us feel inadequate.
And here's the thing that's interesting, that he said everyone was surprised by the complexity of the word search books. He said the words were complex, he said, but the approach was simple, and that's what they needed.
Right.
They could still do complicated words and letters. They just couldn't do... Yeah, the presentation just had to change. And so I just think that's so amazing. I absolutely love this kid, that he would take that much time to think about how this would work for his Nana.
17 years old.
So that is something wonderful.
Another thing wonderful, we got a message from on Facebook. By the way, welcome. Hi, how are you? And we're doing the Christopher giveaway, and the winner from like 4 weeks ago messaged us and said, hey, I had such a great time, because what we're doing is we're sending you and 3 of your friends out to dinner at Christopher's Steakhouse, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
And she said one of the nicest things was the fact that somebody else was cooking for her. She said it could have been hot dogs and beans, but it wasn't.
No,
it was
lobster,
steak.
corn dogs, and
But there
steak.
she was, and she said, I felt kind of like the Queen of England, because she was being waited on. She got to talk to her friends. There weren't any kids smearing mashed potatoes in their hair like they usually do. And
That might just be ours.
all you have to do is go online right here on Facebook.
Yeah, you could be on Gephardt Daily's Facebook page, or Gephardt Approved, or on the Todd and Erin Facebook page. Just drop a comment under the show today saying, I'd like to go to Christopher's, something about steak, I don't care. And then you're automatically entered. We draw a new winner every Friday, and you and 3 friends are on your way. So I actually got to schedule a couple of them last night for a couple of people, and it's really fun listening to them make the plans and what they're going to do with it.
It's very cool.
So it's a rather spectacular night.
I would like to point one thing out right now, speaking of food, is that the crew outside is now cooking bacon in the office. And to those people, screw you. We got to do the entire show smelling bacon.
Don't you think that's why they do it?
Yeah.
Although when Steve's here, our cameraman, he'll come in with this full plate and just lay it in front of you.
Hash browns, the
and
works.
And it's beautiful,
Eggs.
except for one small thing. Once again, we're in the middle of the show.
So you can't
eat it, because then you have egg.
So it sits right here.
Steaming.
And it kills you.
Alluringly.
All right, so coming up, I love this, another story.
You can get anything online. Anything.
Name it. You can get it. It's coming up next.
Bad things happen to good people, but repair your credit and find the car you want at Utah Credit Approval. Just call 801-404-7201. Also by Columbus Travel. Sign up for their weekly newsletter today for some screamingly good last-minute travel deals. You can do that at columbusvacations.com. And also by All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. This is the perfect time to check out your heating system and make sure that you're ready for the cold winter months ahead. Go to allutahplumbing.com, and don't forget 24-hour service.
So Jeff, you do mortgages, right?
I do.
So Jeff, you do mortgages, right?
I do.
How do you do?
Well, you go to our website, 4minutemortgage.com, fill out the application, We'll call you within 1 business day. The whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
We went to the bank.
They got really personal.
I went through all of our personal records and all of our finances.
And then there was that little deal about the $8,000 closing costs.
It took like 4 months.
That's funny. That's funny.
Welcome back to the Todd and Erin Morning Stream on GephardtDaily.com.
Oh, by the way, Heather mentioned on Facebook that it actually is against the Geneva Convention to not have bacon or lack of bacon torture.
Yeah, this is live. Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks.
My. Even if I just have to look at it, I still love you, Mike. Because even smelling it is almost as good.
The aroma bouquet. Thank you very
Bouquet.
much. Bouquet. All right, so...
Thank you, Mike. You're a
Thanks,
beautiful man.
Guys. We appreciate it.
I liked how he sort of crept in, presented the bacon, and then just sort
See
of
him
backed
out of
away.
the corner of my eye.
So
I was like, what are they going to do?
okay, that's good. All right, what should we begin with, Gary Ott? This poor man.
So he's passed away.
Now, this is Sully County Recorder Gary Ott. It's an elected position, and you remember the miserable brouhaha where it looked like his girlfriend worked in the office under him, and then there was a lot of abuses alleged by city employees, and they were all really frustrated, saying, look, this man has got some aging issues.
I think he was appointed because that's why they couldn't get rid of him.
Is that why?
I think so.
Okay, I thought that it was an election, but in any case, whichever happened is that they could not get rid of him because of whatever the situation
His
was.
appointment was for a certain length of time.
And it was physically painful because they had to call a county meeting where they were trying to question him. And you could see the pain on all of their faces because he could not answer anything adequately. So then the legal battle began of getting him out of office. The legal battle began with his girlfriend saying, no, everything's just fine. And then his family jumped in saying, we don't know what's going on with her. We don't know this woman because she's cut us off from him, which is another thing that happens. And so it went on and on and on, except for now that the poor man is dead, the battle continues to rage. His family has still said, look, we don't know what she's done with anything. We would really like to have a court appointed.
Including money, right?
Precisely. Somebody, so we know what's going on. And she suddenly came up with a new lawsuit that says, oh, no, I'm actually his wife. I'm his common law wife because we lived together long enough. So, and funnily enough, she had never said that during all of the county stuff. She had just said she was his assistant. So it just never...
So now they're fighting over...
It's just never going to end, ever. I mean, it's just very painful.
I want to tell you a story. Are you ready?
I am.
All right, I'm going to take you to Monterey, California. On the select board of Monterey is Kenneth Baser. Here's the problem they had. They had a little road that went down, and it went to through a marshy area and over a little stream. And it went to a bunch of families that were living there. 961 people. Oh, you get to eat bacon?
Keep talking.
And that's what happened. So they needed a bridge. And it's only 20 feet across. It's only 20 feet across. Now, here's one kind of bridge. That's a walkway. Mm-hmm. You have all different kinds of bridges. Mm-hmm. Now, the state came through, and they said $900,000 for the 20-foot bridge. There's also
They wanted almost $1 million for a 20-foot bridge.
There are deck bridges, there are piers, there are stringers, there are superstructures where they have cables up supporting the... Here's another one. And so there are a lot of different kinds of bridges.
So they're prefabricated. They're just ready to go.
No. Those are all you build. The state comes in. They have their people come in. They do all the work. And then the city is then given the grant. And then they can build a bridge. And then by then, everyone's grandparents. And so basically what the guy did is Kenneth went,
$900,000, huh?
Everything's online. Why don't I buy a bridge? So he actually went to a local engineering firm, and they found out what specifications they were going to need. He goes online. He finds a prefab bridge. They come out. They install it in like 2 months, 3 months. because you have to pour footings on either side for the supports and all this.
Sure.
And then here it came on a flatbed down the road.
Here's your bridge.
Here's a crane. Lift it up, put it down, bolt it on. Ta-da! $157,000. And
The best part is the California Department of Transportation has been so defensive about this.
so
Like,
angry.
we totally were going to work with them. We don't know why they went that direction because we totally were like, we were planning.
Maybe it was $900,000 that turned you into the evil person. The engineering firm wasn't approved, although totally certified. And so, they're all like, well, like this. So, if you're looking for a bridge, do not call the state.
You can find one online.
Even the interchange down here at 106 South and I-15 cost $24 million to rearrange it. And they did it overnight.
UDOT's very, very good
Over
about
the
construction. They can do
They're
things
very
quickly,
good.
but-
Not for $157,000 though. And now all the families, the 961 people, have a way to get in and get out, and everyone's happy, except for the state,
who are now defensive.
because they found it
They're
on
defensive.
the internet. What was your search? Prefab bridges.
I need a bridge.
I have.
Ding, ding, ding,
I'm
ding,
gonna
ding,
have to
ding.
do that. I'm gonna have to look at that.
Seriously,
Anyway,
that's perfect.
there you go.
Okay, so psychiatrists and social media experts have been having like a field day recently with all of the sexual harassment lawsuits and allegations because
Right.
it is exposed a part of society that everybody has like more or less tried to keep hidden because it's distasteful and it's ugly. But it's also brought up something really interesting. They said, we can present to you a perfect scenario on the right way and the wrong way to apologize.
To the victims or to the public?
As a human being, they're saying you can extrapolate this into your own life. These are the right and wrong ways to apologize. Now, this is something I went through for a long time where I would apologize to you and I go, I'm very sorry that I screamed at you hysterically. But, and then I would immediately justify screaming at you by, I didn't really scream at you, I'd be whatever, I was pissy or whatever, and then I would try to justify it by saying, well, blah, 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 which of course then nullifies the apology. But in my mind, I thought I had apologized to poor Todd.
And then moved on to plan B.
Now, see, this is where you're a saint, and I'm sorry about that.
Well, you just stop. You say, I'm really sorry. And then shut up.
Well, see, there's three core elements, they say, of a good apology: remorse, responsibility, and repair. So over the past couple of weeks, we've seen two really high-profile examples. The first is Kevin Spacey. Actor Anthony Rapp accused him of making sexual advances at him in a party. Rapp was only 14 at the time, which was bad. The next day, Spacey issued a statement that said, I'm beyond horrified to hear this story. I honestly don't remember the encounter, but if I did behave as he describes, I owe him a sincerest apology for what would have been, if it happened, inappropriate drunken behavior.
So I understand that's the bad one.
And I am sorry for the feelings he describes as having carried with him all these years, which we all know perfectly well means you didn't apologize at all, Kevin. You just called him a liar and said it probably never happened. But if it did, then I'm a real nice guy, so I'll say sorry, even though I'm sure it never happened and you're making it up.
Kevin was pulled from movies.
Yeah, he actually lost two different movies.
Cards.
House of Cards, it got canceled. And then the latest movie, you were telling me about this, they actually pulled him. He was a secondary character. They put in actor Christopher Plummer, and they were so sincere about the movie. Go on, explain.
So he was a supporting role. He wasn't like the main thing. And the Sony Pictures, I think it was, came out, and they said, he's out. We're not using him. And they had sat down with the directors and the producers and everyone, the editing people.
And they had worked so hard on this film, everybody.
And they said, this is not going to stop it because these people worked really hard on this. And so they brought in...
Christopher Plummer.
And they went through and they recut all of the scenes.
Brought in back the principals that would have to interact
We
with
don't
them.
know how
Who
many scenes there were, but they did it to release it, and they were going to release it in like 5.5 weeks.
I will totally go watch that just
I
to
will
support
too.
the decision because I thought that was huge.
Because they sat down and went, okay, how many people are interacting? So that's the wrong way.
That's the wrong way. Well, here's the right way. And Louis C.K., I've liked him for a long time, even though I think his comedy is often unpleasant. But you and I have watched several of his things.
Yeah.
And, he's painful and sort of gross. But he talks a lot about having his daughter. He talks about his daughters a lot. Talks about how that women have it much harder in life because of a lot of different challenges and that he really respects them. And then it came out in allegations that he had behaved in a really disgusting sexual matter in front
Right.
of 5 different women.
Right.
5 so far have come forward anyway. And a couple of those were fellow comedians who were really counting on him as a mentor. So he was a pig. He totally violated their trust.
Right.
But here's the difference. When it did come out, he came out with this extensive, detailed letter, and he said, I am truly sorry. I apologize to this person. What I did was wrong.
Her name.
He named each person.
Right.
He apologized for what he'd done. He tried to explain what was going through his mind and that he was wrong and that he knew this now. So he took responsibility for his actions. And then afterwards he said, if any of you feel like you need counseling, if I can support you by doing that, I would be happy to pay for it, which is the repair element. So even though what he did is disgusting and I'm still not sure I could ever watch him again, he did the right thing. He stood up and he took responsibility. He expressed remorse, and then he offered any kind of repair that he could for what they had gone through.
But he still fell under, well, obviously for what he did, but also fell under, people are critical of his apology.
Why?
Because someone stated the fact that 10 times in the apology he said, well, they looked up to me so much. And he kept talking about that. And
I saw
I
that as a
understand.
recognition that he violated their trust.
Right.
That
No,
he
I'm-
recognized that
Right.
he'd taken advantage of a position of leadership that they had counted on him.
he lost a major comedy special on Netflix. He lost a movie. He lost a TV show. It just keeps going on. Keeps going on and on.
But the thing I like about this though is that all of the powers that be now in Hollywood are saying, yeah, we're gonna have to punish you. We're gonna cut you. We're gonna dump you there because
We don't want you aligned with our
none
brand.
of this. Yeah, none of this will matter. None of this at all matters unless there's actual retribution afterwards. Because if they go, oh, I'm sorry, okay, I'm gonna move on now, then
Right.
it doesn't mean anything. It's interesting. Gal Gadot, who I adore, she's the super tall, cute Israeli girl who plays in Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Who's just about the cutest thing ever.
Right.
And she had been set to give an award to Mark Ratner, and I think we talked about this because he was the producer on her film.
Right.
And she refused to give it because she'd heard about the sexual abuse allegations.
For him.
Well, he's still working, which I find incredibly disappointing, although they did dump him on a $280 million contract. But when they started talking about renegotiations for the sequel for Wonder Woman, because it did really well at the box office,
Right.
she goes, I will not be back in the role if Mark is still in the producer home.
Really?
She goes, unless you dump him, I'm not coming back.
You know what?
And this is like the cornerstone of her career. But she was still willing to make a stand where she's a former paratrooper from Israel. She's a badass. And she's like, I'm not going to, I'd rather give up that build in my career than support him.
You know what I find odd? I find odd that none of these stars who are being accused of this have fought back.
Like, this is a lie. Yeah.
Well, that's Moore's job, who's running for Senate. But I really feel it's odd that these, no, I didn't, and
Because they know they've been caught. They know there's no way around it.
if they do go to court, that's going to bring out everybody else. I
it makes
think.
it even worse. Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't heard of anyone going, no, that's not true.
I don't
Weinstein
think
just
folded.
was pushed out of his own company.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've heard of anybody who threatened court retaliation or anything. I don't think I've heard of one.
The guy running for Senate, Moore, Alabama, he said, well, I'm going to sue the Washington Post. And the Washington Post goes, bring it. Because
Then
then
we
they
can
can
bring in all of the witnesses that were 14 and 16 when, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
and
just,
then there's the question, too, of innocent till proven guilty. And one of the comments I heard was, but not in politics.
I think this was Mitt Romney who said that. He said that's accurate for criminal cases.
But not political.
But political-
Supporting the fact that these people came forward. With Moore's case, associates, longtime friends were like, oh, yeah, he dated kids when he was 30.
Didn't any of you think to mention
And
that?
I know it's Alabama, folks, but seriously.
Well, in any case, the thing about this is I've been trying to, because Zoe has heard just enough. We've worked really hard to keep this from her, but she's unfortunately incredibly smart, and so she had asked me a couple of questions.
Sneaky.
And it's actually something, though, that you can teach your kids. They made mistakes. Now let's talk about how you apologize, what makes it right. And so we had this long discussion about bad sorries and good sorries last night. So at least there's something you can extrapolate out of this for your kids, that it's hideous, but maybe there's something you can still teach them. And what they're hoping, sociologists, is that this is something society will learn.
So once again, a nice hello to people who have taken advantage of other people, women or men, and are waiting for the shoe to drop.
We're waiting for it too.
They, yeah.
And we'll be happy to
Women
share.
are empowering other women. Another story. Empowering those, empowering these people. And it's just going to keep going until you're caught. Just a thought.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Let's move on to the fine arts section of the show today, shall we?
I told you this is going to be a show full of coolness.
This is a cool... I love this story.
Plus, I get to say the word thorax. How about that? Thorax. Entomology people know what I'm talking about. It's the skinny part on a hornet, a wasp. It's that little tiny skinny part before its butt. So you got the head here, the butt here, and the thorax. So anyway, why do I bring this up? Why don't I bring up Van Gogh? Why don't I? Let's look at his painting, shall we? The olive tree. This is the olive tree.
Oh, that's lovely.
It is. One of the curators is going
structural.
through this with a magnifying glass. Now, the paint on Van Gogh's paint
Is that like the...
It's really thick.
Is that like the tree? What is that?
It's really thick. No, this is real close up of. It could be a leaf. I mean.
Oh yeah. That's very structural. His
Curator.
work is very
Right.
I mean,
So it's very three-dimensional. I mean, he really builds the paint up and stuff like that. And what she discovered after 128 years is the first person to discover there's a cricket buried in the paint.
seriously?
That's a cricket.
Oh, that's hysterical.
The olive trees is the name of the shot, the painting.
Well, on the bright side, that little humble cricket has been immortalized.
100.
Gave its little cricket
Well,
life.
there is good news for this because they did call in the CSI team, and they looked at it and suggested that the bug, which was missing an abdomen, a stomach, and its thorax were gone, was most likely dead before it got embalmed in the paint.
I have to be honest, that probably wasn't my biggest concern, but okay.
Thorax.
Any story where you can say thorax is a good story for
It's
me.
one of my
sweetheart.
favorite words.
All right, okay then, moving on. Coming up next, there is a new app that will tell you if you're about to be denied something very
Oh
crucial.
my gosh.
And
Okay.
it's important to know this because facing disappointment in this particular case is brutal, especially in August. We'll explain coming up
We're
next.
going to eat sausages and make it up.
Get the fast forward.
All right,
The
all
Todd
right,
and
shoot.
Erin morning stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Did you know that you can qualify for a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600? Just go to fink-mcgregor.com for more information. It's mortgages made simple. Also by the Vein Clinic. There's several excellent varicose vein removal procedures, but you need to find the right one for you. You can do that by scheduling an appointment at theveinclinic.com. And also by Black Diamond Heating, Electric, Plumbing, and Air. Black Diamond Experts, they also have a brand new office open in Ogden. You'll be glad you called an expert. blackdiamondexpert.com.
Apply today and drive away.
At All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, we have the best service and the best warranties. Check us out at allutahplumbing.com.
Oh, look. It's the morning cam.
Good morning, Morning Mountain Cam. Isn't it delightful? It's brought to you by Utah Credit Approval at utahcreditapproval.com. Look at that. There's the lake and
Yeah, who cares?
gravel
cares?
pit. And
Well,
you're eating... Oh, you guys don't.
I'm eating bacon.
So you did all of that just as an excuse to have bacon.
We added that in at the last minute. Thank you very much. I'm going to take you on a trip. Last August, in the car, all the kids. Did you have air conditioning?
No, I did not.
Windows down. Kids are crabby. Mom's crabby. Dad's crabby. And everyone's just sweating.
And McDonald's has ice cream cones for 69 cents each.
I thought it was 50. Anyway. Oh,
Yeah.
delicious.
Right? I know.
So where did we go in our car with no air conditioning?
instantly, we, of course, anything we had to do, we would first go to McDonald's and we would assuage our sweating offspring
Right.
with a
And us.
McDonald's ice cream cone and us as well.
And then one day, it was like 102. We drove through the drive-thru, and what did they tell us when we ordered?
Sorry, the ice cream machine is broken. You know what? It breaks down so much now that they actually have signs they put up like ice cream machine is being serviced, and I'm like, it's been serviced 8 days in a row. Well, yeah.
Then we went across town. We went, oh, we know where another one was. We got there. It was being serviced as well. And I know this sounds like a little thing, but it's not. It was 102 or 103 degrees, and we were dying. And you know how you get your mouth set on something and your brain is fixed on that cone in your face, cooling you off, and it wasn't available. What is one to do?
Well, there's a new woman to look up to in tech. Her name is Raina McLeod. She made an iPhone app called Ice Check that directs you to the nearest working ice cream machine at a McDonald's. Because so many of us have been betrayed in our simple trust and hope that McDonald's would be there for us with their discount ice cream cones, or perhaps even a McFlurry if you were going to splurge.
Ah,
a McFlurry, you know, where you
McFlurry.
have a few chunks of Rolos and your ice cream, and it's all mixed up and it's delightful, and you can't have it because the ice cream machine is broken again. But you can download free the ice cream app, and it will tell you the closest one where it's actually working. So there's no sort of like sadness, because she says, I came up with the idea for an app about a year ago after a late night Oreo McFlurry craving went unfulfilled.
I'm sure.
Due to the ice cream machine
Being down.
So because it's made her a better person than me, because I would just go home and cry, she decided that she had to have an app. So it uses via GPS and input from users. It locates McDonald's and it will tell you that if the machine is in service
Hang on a second.
based on crowdsourced reports.
So this is like the place where you go, the app that has gas station prices. And basically the people who report the prices at certain stations, they get prizes for doing that. So they keep it up to... Are you telling me that people are actually going to report?
This has been going for a year and it works in all 50 states. She said she doesn't intend to take the app international next year.
A lot of people need to have their AC fixed. That's all I'm saying.
I just feel that the ice cream should always be available to me.
Hey, it's
I'm in a new technology where these things are supposed to be available,
important things.
like ice cream.
Okay. It's
Duh.
time to eat more bacon. Time for Daisy.
All right, Daisy's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, Jeff and his wonderful team of people have a million different options for mortgages. You can get one for as low as a credit score as 600. I said that kind of weird, but I meant that if your credit score is as low as 600, you can still get a mortgage. Anyway, go to fink-mcgregor.com. Also by To Liberate a Man, you can escape adult addiction for good, showing you the exact steps to freedom. Just go to liberateaman.com for more information. Also by Black Diamond Experts. They're experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air, 24/7 service. And of course, they've got a brand new place now up in Ogden as well, blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Good morning, Todd and Erin. Enjoy your bacon. And hello again, everyone. Here's a look at national and world news for Tuesday, November 14th on GephartDaily.com. Donald Trump Jr. exchanged private messages with WikiLeaks during the 2016 presidential campaign. That's according to a new article appearing in The Atlantic. According to the story, WikiLeaks contacted Trump Jr. in September 2016, a little more than a month before the election. Observers say the Trump-WikiLeaks connection may point to possible collusion between the Trump campaign and the Kremlin, as it was Russia that hacked the Democratic National Committee emails and shared them with WikiLeaks. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions says he may appoint a special prosecutor to investigate the Clinton Foundation. Sessions says the move is at the request of House Republicans who want to check out alleged ties between the foundation and the sale of a uranium company to Russia's Atomic Energy Agency. Republicans claim Russian interests sought to donate the foundation to persuade Clinton to support the deal, which was okayed when she was still Secretary of State. And the Department of Homeland Security announced Monday that it will conduct a biological weapons simulation test in a small Oklahoma town. The DHS will conduct its tests at Chilocco Indian School in Newkirk, Oklahoma, a town of approximately 2,200 people. The government's Strategic goal is to, quote, detect and recover from biological attacks and inform and support biodefense planning, response, and restoration. The DHS assures residents that all materials are considered non-toxic and non-hazardous. That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to getbackdaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you very much, Daisy. Black Diamond Experts, I was talking to you about that. The fact that they've got a new place in Ogden and they've already started getting the phone calls. They're very happy. I know they're on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because whenever it's extraordinarily early and we're coming into work, I still see their poor vans already on the road, and I always have to wave like, hi, guys, and know you're exhausted, but I'm glad you're out. Because these guys are awesome. They're licensed, they're bonded, insured. You feel safe knowing they're in your house. You're comfortable with them around your kids. They'll go through everything with you. And the thing I like is they'll also explain what they're doing. And it's not the fancy, well, you got to have this one widget, and this widget goes over here. So you're probably not going to know. They'll go, hey, if you change this filter, or if you want to do this thing, it's going to give you like better efficiency, and that'll work really well. They like to give you simple solutions. It doesn't have to be a big, fancy, mysterious thing. But when you pay, it will be exactly what they quoted you. It will not be over. There'll be no extra overages or special charges or surprise hidden fees. It will be what they quoted you. Because they're straight up guys. It's blackdiamondexperts.com.
So, we love nature.
We love Instagram. Apparently the two don't love each other, though.
Tell me more.
Okay, here's the deal. I follow a couple of the different ones on Instagram, like National Geographic, and I love nature.com and nature.org.com.
Oh my gosh, you do?
Because they're beautiful. Well, look.
Oh,
look
look
how
at you.
gorgeous these are. I mean, they're
You're being all
exquisite.
Mother Nature-ish.
No, they're exquisite. But here's the problem. So you think, man, I want to go there too. That's just beautiful. That's amazing.
Right.
So the trouble is they have a new article called Instagram is Loving Nature to Death, because thanks to the photo sharing app, some of the best kept secrets of the natural world are now drawing huge crowds, and it's literally altering the landscape.
Because they're too fragile.
Precisely. They say, there's so much exposure, but they say, look, you go there, and he says, could I just ask you this? Maybe, don't start fires there. Clean up your poop. Things like that. Because what they're finding is people are doing these massive burn scars on protected areas.
And pooping, evidently.
Yeah, they don't bother to pick up their garbage or any of the crap, and so they're also altering the local wildlife because they're trying to feed. And it's like, he's like, you're destroying these really pristine areas that had a really fragile ecosystem. So that once again, after doing some research, I actually saw this, like Horseshoe Bend. The popularity is crazy.
Zion's National Park.
Like hashtag, it's normally 10 times as popular as anything else in that area. So the visitors come and they totally screw everything up.
Now
the trouble is they say you still do need, the trouble is they say you do need visitors. You need people to appreciate this, number one, because it's right and it's nature and it's beautiful. And he said also because that does support the area, especially for national parks. But he said it's the destruction of the area and the delicate balance that's killing them.
Well, Zion's National Park is being loved to death, and they know that, and they're talking about raising the amount of money it's going to cost at $70 to make a reservation there per carload. But it's literally trails are getting dug so deep just from footprints, just from people walking and stuff, that they're trying to figure out a way to force people to go to other parks for a while.
Well, once again, he said, there's just 3 simple things. He said, please don't start fires where you're not supposed to. Don't feed the wildlife. Pick up your own poop. He says, just 3 things. That's all we're asking.
Yellowstone's done a really good job, because Yellowstone is like, it's like Disneyland.
Yeah.
But they have set up walkways through the hot pots and through the boiling areas, which are good to swim in, by the way. And they've really managed to isolate the people away from nature, whether it's with a walkway or whatever. But yeah, it's Instagram. It's like different. It's like I like Anthony Bourdain, and I like watching his food channel show. And then he goes to certain places, and he's on this desolate beach with this one shack that makes these fried fish things that are so incredible. And he says the name of them, and many times he has looked at the camera and he goes, I have just screwed these people over. Because now there are people who travel to every location that they have done shows in. And
you and I have made our bucket list following Anthony Bourdain. Are you kidding?
Some of his places. But yeah, that little quiet corner of the globe, and he publicizes it. Worse than Instagram. Well, maybe not worse than Instagram.
Nothing's worse than Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't mean it in that way. I meant bigger and more powerful than Instagram, I guess is what I meant.
Nothing's worse than...
Because I'm on Instagram all the time, so no, let's not say it's bad. Okay, so coming up in just a couple of minutes, this is the creepiest thing ever. The dead can unlock their own iPhones.
Get out.
And give you the secrets from beyond the grave.
Get out.
Tell you next. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Go to fink-mcgregor.com for mortgages made simple. Because they're a broker, they have a number of different options they can offer you. Just go through a 4-minute questionnaire and someone will call you back by the next business. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Go to fink-mcgregor.com for mortgages made simple. Because they're a broker, they have a number of different options they can offer you. Just go through a 4-minute questionnaire and someone will call you back by the next business day and get you on your way. It's fink-mcgregor.com. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Utah Credit Approval knows that there's sometimes the bad things happen to good people and that credit may be hard to repair. But you can apply today and drive away today with Utah Credit Approval. Just call 801-404-7201. And also by All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Go to allutahplumbing.com to schedule a check to make sure that you're ready for winter. And don't forget they have 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com.
All right, welcome back. It's the Todd and Erin Morning Show. I've got a couple pieces of bacon left. Would you like some?
I want that sausage.
You
Save it for
can
me.
after the show. All right.
Thank you. You're so thoughtful.
All right. So, the dead can unlock their phones.
This is really eerie. Okay, this is your shiny new phone. It's really fabulous and smart. I know they have facial recognition technology in a lot of them.
Right.
A lot of them use your thumbprint,
Right.
fingerprint to open it up for you. What they found out is they were doing a case in France, and they had a guy who they knew
Criminal?
way more murders than he'd been caught for. He was actually shot by police trying to flee.
Right.
And they went, we've got to know what's going on. And he's got, his phone was encrypted.
And they always go through your phone. They always go through your hard drives at home. They go
Yeah.
through everything. No matter what it is, they're going to go through your stuff. But it was locked.
Yeah, and so they're so frustrated and thinking, what can we do? Now, he had only been dead 24 hours. Now,
24 hours.
Here's an interesting thing I just learned from a pathologist. It took me a moment, but I'm okay. The fingerprint starts to degrade on the body within 72 hours. So if you want to get an accurate representation of the unique signature swirls of your own fingerprint,
So in 72 hours, you can take his thumb and put it to his phone.
which is exactly what they did. So they went down to
The morgue.
the morgue. They pulled his body out of the freezer, slapped it on the thing,
Did it work?
unlocked everything, and they got all of the information they needed. And so they've spread officers all over the country because they've got like I guess 8 different places they have to go now. But the
Oh my
thing is,
gosh.
it released all of his secrets and all of his information.
And you know, it was probably such a good phone that one of the officers probably took it with him and a thumb. And, what? So.
But they've actually used that in a couple of other places. For instance, there was one man who died in a car accident, and his wife didn't know where any of the papers were, and like a will or how to do our taxes, any of this stuff. She was really overwhelmed, and they did the same thing. He had facial recognition technology. His brother went down and said, "Look, sister-in-law, just stay home. I'm going to do this."
Right.
Pulled him out, did it, and they were able to access all of his financial records for her. So all of your secrets from beyond the grave still come back.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that
My mind is wheeling right
because
now.
think about how
Wheeling.
much you store on
Right.
your phone, or at least there's access from your phone to the next step.
It would work except if you died on a roller coaster. Because your face recognition wouldn't register with this. You know, some calm look, where a plane lands on you and you didn't see it coming, and then you're calm and there's your face, as opposed to some horrific way where you're screaming. Sausage?
Not yet. Don't torture me with the sausage.
All right.
Okay, this one's dear to me only because you remember a couple of years ago we decided it would be a good human experiment, social experiment, to stick me in your truck on a 100-degree day for. What did we end up with? 42 minutes.
How hot was it?
It ended up being 118 in the car from, I think it was like a minute and a half on.
And how much did your husband hate this?
And Even
How much?
even the camera was smarter than I was because the thermal protector shut it off after I think it was 31 minutes. But I stayed in that car fair and square 42 minutes.
And who was pissed off?
You were totally. But
And what did I do with you afterwards?
my brain was broiled and
and
you
I
stuck
took
me
you
in the shower.
In the shower, cold
But
shower.
in any case, so maybe this is why this stuff gets me so much because you hear these stories all the time still of the summer where people keep their animals or their children.
Oh.
And we've all heard these stories and it haunts you. And one that killed me was Endy. She was the canine dog from Cache County.
I remember this.
Remember? And these are incredible animals. They are trained like you can't imagine. They're smarter than we are.
They live 24/7 with the officer.
And yeah, and that's the thing. Traditionally, this relationship is almost like father or mother and child. They're
no.
that close.
You're not going to tell
And
me.
this is the one where the sheriff's officer, Jason Whittier, left Indy in the car, in his police car, knowingly on an unspeakably hot day, and just left this sweet animal there. And
the animal
she perished.
perished.
So he finally got to trial, I guess, yesterday, and he pleaded no contest, Class B misdemeanor, aggravated cruelty to an animal. He gets a year of probation and 100 community service hours that must be spent at the Humane Society or one of the city shelters. I'm still not sure it's enough.
I think
Because it's
at one point you want to think that the fact that you lost your dog and the fact that your hand was on it would be almost punishment enough.
he left him in the he left Andy in the truck when he left for quote family activities.
Okay, that's not right.
I'm not sure it's enough. I think he should be changed from an officer to a city employee that has to work all the time. I don't know. Do you think it's enough? Was it enough?
It's funny because I saw an article yesterday that people were being offered $100,000 for their dogs and their pets. They'd walk up to someone on the street, and it was an interview situation. And they said, "We have $100,000 we want to give you. We want to buy your pet."
Here's Gil. Take him. It's $100,000. Maybe if I weren't the only one in the house that picked up poop, it would be less of a difficulty for me to offer him up for $100,000.
You're the one who take over the lawn stuff. You did. You wanted it. You got the leaf blower. You got the.
That doesn't mean I wanted to pick up all the poop by myself.
Comes with the territory.
Who are you kidding?
Who
Even
are you
when you
kidding?
did the lawn,
You're
I
gonna
still
sell
picked up
our
the poop.
dog? Our dog, who licked our daughter's baby toes when she came back from the hospital, who barks and protects us, except not when they stole my utility trailer, who supports our family in a loving manner and teaches our children how to care for another being who lives on this earth, a steward, if you will, of wildlife all around the planet. And you're going to give up our dog for
Here's my shovel.
$100,000.
Here's my garbage bag. Gil, garbage bag.
Here's our dog. Here's the money. Think
You
we
really
both...
would not give up Gil for $100,000?
No. No.
Okay, I'm an animal lover. I've protested
Yeah,
for
lover to
animals.
make
I've been arrested
money.
for animals, but I would totally give up Gil for $100,000. I'm sorry. And if I told Zoe I get to take you to Disneyland now, she would stop crying in half a second.
I don't even know her.
You're going to shun me? How is shunning me?
Are you serious? You would give up our dog?
Oh, Marianne says, be as loyal to your dog as your dog is to you.
Right, see? So go poop in your dog's bed. Give up our dog for $100,000. What kind of materialistic woman have I married?
The kind that could take my daughter to Disneyland and she'd forget all about Gil. I'm sure he'd go to a lovely home.
This comes as a total shock to me, by the way. Would you do it? Would you give up your animal? Your animal that you cared for and has loved you for 5, 6, 7, 8 years? Would you easily turn this animal over to someone for a check, for money?
Well, not for like $100. Not for $1,000.
What the hell's wrong with you?
$100,000?
And don't say we can buy another dog with it either. It doesn't work that way. I wouldn't be ready. Be too soon.
I'm sure you'd be inconsolable for a full 15 minutes until I handed you the $100,000.
Now, if they're going to give me a check for you, I'm sure Gil would want you to stay.
That's good. That was dark. Well played.
Thank you.
Well played. That was dark.
Will Smith.
All right.
He's tired? What's his issue?
Oh no, this is epic. If your name is Will Smith, he needs your help on a secret project. Because if you think about it, Will Smith is probably a pretty common name,
How
right?
secret is this?
Well, it's not hugely, but just according to a couple of the recent sites, there's over 2,500 people named Will Smith.
Hey, Will Smith.
So he did this Netflix movie, and it's called Bright. It's a big science fiction movie. And he says now he's got a gigantic global tour that he's going on. And they've got him everywhere around the world. He says, but it's a lot. Because you think about it, there's a lot of interviews, there's a lot of travel.
And people ask you one after another the same questions. Next person comes in, same question. Next person, and that's how that rolls.
Here's the deal. He said, I need Will Smith to help me.
What do you mean?
He's going to get a bunch of people named Will Smith from here in America, and they're going to be representative to him for the movie, and they're going to travel around with him and do interviews and do part of the press junket and go on the red carpet for the premieres, because he says, I'm exhausted. I can't do the whole thing.
Oh, that's fine.
So the other Will Smiths get to be stars too and go through it.
He'll get more coverage this way than he would.
Isn't that freaking genius?
Went.
Did you guys have a trailer for Bright that we were going to look at? Because I want to see what it's about. I know it's science fiction, but that's all I know.
It's crazy science fiction. I'm not sure that we have it, though.
I thought we did.
No, but...
all right, maybe we'll show that.
Do you know something about Will Smith that you did not know?
Tell me.
He would not sell his dog for $100,000.
You don't know that.
Yeah, I do.
You don't know that. All right, let's do something else. We need to get Daisy here. I need a
Daisy.
British expert.
Here, you switch to the middle. Daisy, come on in.
You would all totally sell your dog for $100,000. You would totally do it. Let's just not even pretend. We know we would.
Here I am.
You sit
Hi,
right
baby.
there.
Sit right here. Okay.
Okay, we need your expertise. Let me
Okay.
put that somewhere. Because I don't know half of these nursery rhymes, and they're all British because all the good stuff comes from there. But
Nursery rhymes.
Oops, sorry.
if you think, did you just get your hand nailed?
No.
sorry.
No, I'm good.
Okay, but because it's a lot like the fairy tales, like the Grimm's fairy tales, how they're really actually horrifying if you think about them.
Oh, yeah.
Like parents who really would abandon their children in the middle of a forest where a witch is going to eat them. I mean,
Yeah.
Or sell their dog for $100,000.
Yeah, they're all about really bad stuff.
Right.
Like plague and...
exactly.
All
Thank you.
sorts.
So I didn't realize these were as bad. Do you know the one about oranges and lemons?
Yes.
Can you recite it or
think I
explain it?
Not off the top of my head, but it's...
What is the storyline?
Give me a prompt on that,
I
because I
think
haven't
it's-
thought about that for
I
quite
think
a
it's
long
this one.
time.
Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St.
St.
Clements.
Clements.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I think a lot of these are they're mostly about like royalty and the bad things that royal people did, and then about like commoners and stuff. So,
Because look at the end part. That's like vaguely horrifying.
yeah, see, we just grew up with all these nursery rhymes, but we all grew up knowing that they were horrifying. You know, they're all about terrible stuff.
Well, it's like the British. They send their children to boarding school at 5. They become realistic.
Right.
See, I'm trying to figure out what exactly it's about, but these are all different bells in churches in London.
You owe me 5 farthings. When will you pay me? When I grow rich, when will that be? I do not know. Here comes the candle to light you to bed. Here comes the chopper to chop off your head.
Oh,
Chip, chop,
yeah.
chip, chop. The last man is dead.
Yeah, I totally know that one.
Night.
Night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not horrifying. Okay, Humpty Dumpty. I didn't realize this.
Oh yeah, that's about a king. It's a certain king.
I didn't realize this was so
King Charles
sinister.
the First. Yeah.
So it's really not about a little oversized egg that falls off and no one could fix him.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a
Am
wall.
I going to ruin your life if I say no?
What's it really about?
I think it's about a king that fell from grace or something like that, isn't it?
Grace
Oh,
a
and all the
wall.
king's horses and all the
Right.
king's men couldn't put Humpty together,
Couldn't
meaning they couldn't back up on the throne.
Right.
Okay. So this is like a really clever way, though, for the commoners to actually teach their children sort of like their social discontent without actually standing out in the middle of the street and thus getting murdered and thrown in the Tower of London for like treason, right?
Yeah, and you know what Ring of Roses is about, of course.
No.
Smallpox.
Ring around a rosy, pocket full of
Yeah,
posies.
the plague.
The plague.
Because a ring of roses is, I think, one of the first symptoms. Everyone knows this in England. One of the first symptoms of the plague is like a ring
Around
of red
sores and
spots.
stuff. Yeah.
So Ring of Roses, Pocket Full of Posies is something to
It's something they did to ward
it
off the
and then
disease.
The tissue will fall down is that you sneeze and die.
Have some candy. Have some candy, kids.
Well, it's not just you, though. We're just as horrible as you are. Have you heard the 10 Little Indians one?
No.
1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little Indians. Well,
That's
basically...
Yeah.
What it does, unfortunately, is actually, it really goes backwards, because what it is this truly horrifying thing where they're counting, the early Americans, they were counting down getting rid of the Indians.
Oh.
And when you sing it backwards the other way, it basically is talking about knocking off one by one until there's just one little Indian left, and they go, that is a manageable amount. Right?
What?
Is that horrifying?
Right?
Okay, Peter Pumpkin Eater.
Peter Pumpkin Eater had
Yes,
wife
wife
and
that
couldn't
keep her.
keep her, right?
Now he keeps her in a. Now he has a pumpkin shell, or he put her in a
Yeah,
pumpkin
what's that all about?
Yeah.
That apparently was according to an old English law that said that if you had a runaway wife, or you had a wife that attempted to leave, you were legally allowed to lock her in the house and even chain her if necessary to keep her there.
I think that's perfectly fair.
I do too. Yeah, because who else is going to make me a sandwich?
I think
This is when I wrap the chain around your neck from behind. Eat your sandwich.
You got to find something heavy enough to hold still while you try to pull on it.
So, at what point in your growing up do you go, this is freaking horrifying, and yet it doesn't seem to bother you as much? Because I'm like sitting here appalled, and you're like, oh yeah, that's that one time when then they'll die.
Yeah, no, I think it was, I mean, as far as I can remember in my own house, it was like, just, you know how kids, you know, will get a thrill out of ghost stories and that sort of thing. I think it was that kind of thing that, like, my mum would, like, say the nursery rhymes, and I don't know at what point she would be like, oh, by the way, that's about the plague.
Actually, I can see your mom, because your mom so loves knowledge and she loves to talk about stuff. I can see her being all happy, going, yeah, and that's when they all died horribly, honey.
Yeah, and there's that certain frisson with kind of knowing that, oh, it's about this kind of really terrible thing, you know. And me and my sisters were hellions as well. If someone told us, like, that something was about the plague or anything like that, we'd be like, yes! And then probably sing it for, like, 12 hours non-stop, you know? That kind of thing. It's, you know...
Oh, that's
I can
funny.
see Zoe doing that,
Oh,
can't you?
yeah.
Yeah,
Just
actually,
like
totally.
over and over.
Yeah. She's making them up, actually, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I can totally see that now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for the education.
Yeah.
Thanks. You can stay right here with us. Do you have a pet?
No, but we may do soon.
Okay, so what are you going to look for? What are you getting?
I think a kitty.
A kitty?
Because you have a little couch, maybe a hedgehog.
That would be
You need something
lovely.
very tiny, like, you know.
Would you sell your
high-end.
hedgehog of future love for $100,000?
The hedgehog or the hedgehog and Jay?
The pet.
Oh, I thought you said hedgehog.
She's gonna throw the husband in too.
No, I wouldn't sell Jay. But what would I sell my future hedgehog?
There was a deal where an experiment where someone would go up, a person with a dog, and offer them $100,000 for their dog.
Oh, that's right. Would you?
Yeah.
And I
yeah,
said
she
I
would.
would, and he shunned me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Heartless
the one who picks up all
wench.
the dog poop. Okay, my bonding with Gil is not the same as it is for him.
You're like, yeah, take him $50.
No, I wouldn't do it for less than $10,000.
I work with heartless wenches.
Would you not though? $10,000. That's
$100,000.
Oh, see, I thought it was 10. 100,000.
You were going to give it up for $10,000. Aaron would do it for like coupons.
Yeah.
We're pragmatic, Daisy.
$100,000 is a lot of money.
And the love of an animal lasts forever. You guys, thanks for joining us. Daisy's here.
I love you,
We're
Daisy.
here. The Todd and Erin morning stream on GephartDaily.com. I don't know who I'm working with. Send help immediately. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
The hedgehogs are really cute, though.